Good evening.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to another exciting week of the MARZ live stream. Hope you all can hear me. Hope it's sounding good. Hope it's looking good.
I can hear you.
Yep. As always, things have moved around, and we're trying something new. If you tuned in last week, we had some issues with our sound setup here, trying to stream audio from another PC. So now we've got two PCs on our setup. One in here in the control room, and one out there on the floor. But we needed sound from both of them, and so Cory can play music, and then I can play music in here while giving demos. So what we were trying to do was work on our animation project and lip sync the audio that Cory made for us to our characters here. So that was going to be kind of not very fun for Cory if he couldn't hear what I was doing. So we had to rearrange and bring in some new tools to make that happen. But now, if I switch over to our other view here, we've got our two-shot with our screen, which you guys will recognize. This is how we kind of had it set up before. It's just coming into the computer a little bit differently. Before I was actually capturing a screen on the same computer that I was streaming on. Now it's a full separate device that we're running over here with Blender on it. So yeah, and with that, if I play this here now, you guys should be able to hear it, and Cory should be able to hear it. I see it's coming through.
I hear it. I don't see it, but I hear it.
Okay.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Looks like it's coming through.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
Might bring my volume up a little bit. I go into our mix here. I don't know if I need that much. Do you need more on yours?
I take a bit more. That seems like a lot. But
Okay. Well, that YouTube video that we watched earlier to test it out was pretty loud. But
for sure. Yeah. We're noticing, like, we were setting playback volumes here and played like
for
a
you for hours.
that's a little better.
That's a good. That's
Cool.
a good level. Yeah, we were playing a YouTube video to set this level earlier, and like finalized music in particular is very loud. Like, it's often way louder than dialogue, louder than sound effects. It's like the loudest thing.
Let me do one thing.
And so the loudness was inappropriate for this thing that we're doing, which is just like dialogue and some Foley that hasn't been like, I don't know, finalized, hasn't gone through like the finalizing, loudnessing, mastering phase of the process yet. So.
It's always been a complicated thing for me, the like loudness and getting it like mastered to the very end. I've always run into that with projects, with video projects. I had that happen recently on the last production I did, and Cory was helping out with it too. People were complaining that one part of it was too quiet and another part was too loud. But like when I had listened to it and edited it, it sounded fine. But when it was then streamed, parts were too quiet and parts were too loud, even though I had watched through the whole thing and edited it. It was weird.
That's super weird. So, like, I'll say something about that real quick. Like, it's possible that some of the file compression, because, like streaming audio undergoes some pretty heavy compression. File compression different than audio compression. But sometimes that can result in, like, it can manifest as like a subtle distortion, which can highlight certain frequencies more than others.
It was streaming over Zoom, so there's all sorts of weird audio.
Totally, yeah. Zoom does funny things. Zoom does funny things to the audio. So there's some settings to tweak about that in Zoom that maybe I should show you sometime.
Oh, sending the raw audio.
There's a bunch of deep settings about that. You found out a lot of stuff, I'm assuming. Yeah. So for any of you using Zoom, it's trying to play audio over it. For all of you people who are watching right now, like Zoom does wacky stuff to the audio. It sucks.
Yeah.
I actually have come to, not based on the pandemic, but just like I have truly come to despise Zoom as a platform. It's really the worst of all worlds. It does not excel at anything.
Nope.
At all. It is.
I don't know why it became the thing when like Skype or, I mean, Skype was already around, and it's such a
What confused me, like, where did Zoom even come from? Like, I didn't hear about it until like pretty much the pandemic hit, and then all of a sudden everyone's on Zoom, and like, it's the way it handles audio and like speaking, like the way it cuts off other people's mics as soon as anyone like breathes in the background, like it's atrocious. If you've ever done a group chat on any other platform, you've probably had a better experience. That is all I'm going to say about Zoom. I hate Zoom.
Playing about it for
I hate Zoom.
It's something else. So let's check out our animation here. I kind of synced up a little bit where it should start. So I've turned on. So in Blender here, I'm in the sequence editor. So in your little drop down, there's a bunch of options specifically. Well, I guess they list it under general. It's not under animation. But the video sequencer is where you can add clips and everything like that. Blender can actually work as a video editor if you wanted to. It's pretty basic, but it can do that stuff. But essentially here, I just wanted to be able to add in my audio clip and be able to see the waveform, because that helps a lot with lip syncing. So by default, actually, there is no waveform. You have to, it looks like this by default. So if you hit N on your keyboard, which in any window is your it's not your tools, it's like your property shelf. I don't know what a good way to remember that. The T is for the tools, which is on the other side. But N is like, I don't know what a good word for that is to remember that hotkey, but
we have one in Ableton. There's a pencil tool, and the shortcut is B. So I'm always telling people about the Bencil.
The Bencil.
Yeah, you know.
I know there's got to be one for this. It's like the Nook or something. It opens the Nook in the corner, and you can have a bunch more properties. And a lot of times when you get add-ons and stuff like that, they hide the add-on properties in the little Nook here. You can also hit this little arrow. It's very hard to see. There's a little tiny arrow, and that pops it out. So easy to lose things in there. Same with all of these. All of these have their own little nooks where they hide things. So that's a good name for it. It's a hiding place for settings. But in here, in that first little tab or drawer of the Nook, you can display waveforms.
Why would that not be on by default?
I don't know. I think you could probably set it on by default.
That's
somehow,
so weird.
But
why would you, like, what advantage does not seeing the waveform offer?
I think it's just like it's not very, it's not used very often, except for in this case, or if you're specifically editing video, it might be on by default in the video editing. So like if you were to start a new scene, you can start a new video editing scene. It might be on default there. I don't know. But in this, you've got a few options. You can change your volume and pitch and stuff and all that good stuff.
That's cool.
But yeah, now we can see the waveform and we can watch it here. I think, did we line it up right to? Should start right at.
I synced it with the video that you gave me. Yeah, so it should start right at the beginning.
Cool. So we can play it here. So maybe.
Did we change anything about it?
I don't think so, but I can slide this. I can always adjust the animation to fit better too, which is probably easier than re-recording it.
Well, maybe. I have the project here. So, like, you want to see it on my screen real quick to see what the sync that I had going was?
Sure. Let me switch over to Cory's screen.
Let me make sure I'm sending you audio real quick. This thing always defaults to some other weird output other than the one I want. It always manages to. Ableton has learned to always pick an output that isn't the one I want. So.
You had a version before you started walking. Yeah, I may have changed the. I may have changed the timing on that sitting animation.
Yeah.
Because I think I was working on that a little bit. So I can edit to your cue.
Sure.
I think that's easier than having you have to go back through and try to.
Yeah, you'd have to render something anew out. Also,
right.
Which is probably the worst thing to do on the stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, cool. That's what I thought was happening. Yeah, there's something about the way he like slides into the thing that like doesn't line quite up with it now, but I don't know.
Yeah, see, I would assume maybe like doing the dialogue and the background sounds or like
breaking them out as separate tracks.
yeah. Then I can like put them all in here and slide them around if I need to.
I mean,
That's not necessary.
I could give you that pretty easily, I think.
This should work. I should be able to time it right. I just gotta slow him down so he like. I can play his animation back a little further, or I can play this, start this beforehand.
Yeah, there's quite a few lanes of things going on over here. Man, they sound like they're in this room.
Oh yeah.
Like, in this, like, it's, like all the sounds sound like this room to me.
That's a very distinct.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in this room, so I feel like I'm like
I've
pretty
been
familiar
waiting
with the sound.
for you for hours.
There he is.
The
Still
slow
his eyes,
zoom
his eyes are still messed up,
into the big reveal is so good.
but I think that I can. Let's
Soulless eyes.
fix this for now. I'll have to bring the texture back in. So what I'm doing is just disconnecting this texture, and then you can color it however. I don't know what a good eye color. I guess he had pupils before, didn't he? Or either X's or something had happened weird that was messing it up. So it was like
I forget what it was.
his hair texture's still there and everything else.
Yeah, I think his hair is just part of his body texture.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do.
I didn't do anything that clever.
I'm gonna do something super easy with the lip sync, so I don't spend too long on it.
Yeah, I mean, this has
been a long project.
This has been a long project, partially because we've not done this workflow together, partially because we're doing everything from scratch, and partially because we're only doing it in little chunks.
Yeah.
You know, like there's definitely a thing that happens like an 8-hour project takes more than 8 hours if you do them in like 8 1-hour chunks. Do you know what I mean? Because like it takes a second to get back into your like mental space of the project,
Oh,
get
yeah.
oriented and into the workflow, and like figure out where your things are and correcting the things that don't load properly and all that
Yeah.
stuff. You know, so there's always like some weird thing. Whereas like if you're in the flow and in the zone, it goes faster.
So one thing I do want to turn on too is you can tell that when I scrub here, I can't hear the audio. Now the audio scrubbing is kind of garbage, honestly.
There's not a lot of great audio scrubbing out there in the world, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Even in like even in DAW software, it's usually not good. It's not usually a thing you care about doing too much because you can see the waveform, you know.
Oh right, yeah. And this is kind of a maybe we'll see how bad it is, but it's another one that's a pain in the butt to find. So you have to be specifically in your timeline here, and then under playback, you want to play. You can sync it to the audio, which is a good thing to do. So it's going to skip frames and try to keep with the audio. And then under playback, we can do scrubbing. And now
Been waiting for you
it's a little staticky, but it's
for
not.
hours.
That's honestly like pretty good.
It's not too bad.
That's normal for
It's
digital.
normal.
Like there's just not much like with the nature of digital audio and that like playhead that doesn't have any physics about it. Like it's just
Right.
like there's really like the only way to make that sound better is if you like make it like get it to do some like bunch of fading
oh,
or like slowing down a
try to
pitch or
cut out
something,
that.
or like create some physics where the sound then speeds up and slows down as the movement of the cursor changes, you know, like it would on tape. Like the faster you scrub that tape, the higher the pitch is, you know.
Right.
Whereas this just like jumps more.
Yeah, you can't really. It's not like fine control.
For you.
And there's a lot of the static.
Well, yeah, because it's just like that. Well, that's just like like a whoo sound. It's not really static. It's just like a short chunk of something.
Oh, just little pieces of a waveform kind of playing.
Yeah. So it's playing tiny. Like every time you move it, it's just playing like one tiny little like sounds like maybe like I don't know. I'm not gonna try and guess how long that is, but like a few, like maybe 100 milliseconds or something like that. I guess I did guess how long it is.
So what I'm gonna do? He's got an extra skeleton. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start with Cory's character here, and I'm gonna go into. I actually want to run this after. There we go. I just move those modifiers around we were talking about this the other day, like having, layering things and stuff like that. So I want the armature to be first. That way it moves the character, and then we apply the subdivision, which smooths them out. There, you can do it the other way, but this way's faster, and you get better performance because you're modifying the base character, this like low poly character, and then you're smoothing him out. You're not smoothing him and then trying to animate him.
Right, because that would just result in a lot more vertices.
It takes more to run.
Okay.
And we can also preserve volume, which she brings back a little bit of the like shape of him. This is another thing that I don't know why it's not on by default. I rarely ever use this without preserve volume.
Can I ask you a quick question? Like thinking about this like a resource conservation workflow, where you're like, got to keep, trying to be really heavy managing your system resources. Do you think this is a thing that people at like mega pro workflows still worry about, or do they just like beef out like some crazy like server farm, like for this kind of tasks and just kind of crank out high res stuff all the time?
A lot of it is also, particularly when it comes to like animated characters, there's a lot of rules when it comes to what's called topology. So if we look at our character here, he's pretty rough. Like there's some stretched vertices. There's like the flow of the vertices is kind of all over the place, and there's interesting there's
a bunch of random sizes things. Like the beak is totally
right
weird.
So like it's one of those things that it's more now. I mean, computers can handle so much topology, really. Like, I mean, we play AAA games. They're usually super intensive, lots of geometry data, but the main thing is just like one, performance in real-time previews when you're developing it is a big one. So like if you want to see it animate at real time, like even our animation here, you can see our frame rate, and it's staying pretty solid, but it's also every once in a while it'll go red. So if I had more going on in this scene, even if I bet you if I turned on render preview and went into the camera mode, so this is actually what it will look like, and now play it. No, it's still doing pretty good. Most computers can handle it, and this isn't a very intensive scene.
Right.
And I don't know if I have it doesn't look like I have the ambient stuff turned off, but yeah, it's mostly just to do with like real-time playback and things like that, and like obviously probably the most intensive part of like at least character design is the sculpting process. Yeah. So that's where you're designing your character at first, but then you always go back, almost always, unless you're just doing a pure like render and not actually using it in a game or in a film. You could get away with just rendering out a super high poly character in just an image if you weren't animating it. But like the second you need to animate it or use it for anything else, it's kind of like it's pretty necessary to go through the process of you would remodel that sculpt, and then you would bake in to that model, so you can bake the texture maps of all the little details, and essentially it fakes the little details, but it like keeps in those, like say you had like wrinkles on your character's skin or something, you could bake those in, and baking just like takes into account like this high resolution model, and like takes all the shading and stuff, and like the computer says, okay, so I see there's shadows here and these wrinkles and things, so I'll bake them into a height map or a bump map or a normal map, and convert that into like a texture file.
Oh, so the texture can have 3D data?
Yep.
Whoa,
yep.
Okay, so that's a light bulb moment for me. I'm realizing probably a ton of work that I see is people modifying the 3D elements of textures.
Yeah, like we could super awesome. Easily, for example, like say we wanted like, I don't know what would be an easy one, like the wood here. Let's do one real quick since we're talking about it.
Cool.
I can make a bump map essentially by just plugging. So here's our principal DSBF, which is our basic shader essentially, and we've got all these options. And like normally you're only really concerned with the base color and maybe the roughness. So this like makes it shinier or not as shiny. But there's another one down here called normals. And so the normals is what direction the faces on the surface of the object are like how it reflects light, essentially. So we can like fake it and tell Blender, since this is a pretty low resolution, we can tell Blender to kind of fake the how it reacts to light. So there's a really simple way to do this. We could just add in a noise texture. So I just Shift A to add, and I can search for what I'm looking for. I'm gonna do a noise texture, and then if I were to plug this in, you can kind of see what it looks like. It's gonna look kind of gross looking, but you see it's all kind of like, if I scale this up, it's got kind of a, well, it's noise. So.
Yeah, it's a certain kind of noise, right?
Yeah.
Certain flavor of noise.
There's all sorts of different flavors of noise that you can get, but I want this to act like a bump map, so it looks like the wood has like some kind of maybe a grain or like texture to it.
Yeah, probably like if you were really going deep, you'd probably like find the actual texture of wood grain. But yeah, but I get what you're doing. Yeah.
So this I'm just like procedurally generating it essentially.
Yeah, totally.
So then what I want to do is I want to be able to control how I want to be able to control I want to have more control over the colors here. So I'm going to add in, well, not necessarily the colors, but like you'll see what I'm going to do. So like this is normal, right? This is how it is. But I can, with this color ramp, I can make the darks darker and make the lights lighter. So I can sort of build like a actual, it's already a pattern here. You could use this for a lot of things. There's a lot of use cases for this combination, a noise texture and a color ramp.
This reminds me so much of a lot of music activities. I'll just tell you what, like introducing a little bit of randomness to make things more interesting.
Oh yeah,
huge thing.
I do this on pretty much every procedural texture I make has some kind of thing. So what we want to do now though is tell. So right now it's just coloring this object. It's not actually using that to create that depth that we're talking about. Right. So we need a special node here called a bump node. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Essentially, if you want something to have bumps on it, you can use a bump node. And we want to use this black and white texture as like the height. So like it goes, between 1 and 0. I believe that you can invert it or whatever, but I think by default 0 is black and white is 1. So I believe that, so anywhere in between, so if you have gray values in between that, is a different number.
Yeah. So like when you restricted those values in the node before, that's like, basically it's like you're gonna have a lot more like low and high and less variation in between. Yeah. Like more surface area that's at the maximum depth and maximum height and less stuff in between.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I plug this in, you'll see right away, it'll take a second, it's got to compile the shaders, but we should get kind of an interesting looking material here.
Compiling the, oh yeah. This is just like a look, okay. Yeah, this look is so familiar.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. So now I can come in here and like bring this, if I want to bring this down, I can like, you can see I can actually like bring it in and back up. I can change the like, kind of height, so you can actually see it affecting the shadows on here. So it's really cool.
This is rad, dude. This is definitely illuminating a bunch of things that I've been seeing.
So like I could bring this back. There we go. Now there's like little, it doesn't cut it off. See, this before was like cutting into the center of that. See how it kind of cuts it off. But here I can leave it all the way, and I can change the scale. Can make it bigger again. So maybe it has like more larger pieces that are raised up.
Yeah.
So you can see, you can really tell, you can really see them.
And so you can create kind of like a weird, gross bubbling effect on here by automate. What's the word for this? Keyframing these, right? What do you say?
Oh yeah, you could.
I would use the word automate, but what would you?
Yeah, you could keyframe them. Yeah. So this is, I can change all these settings. I could hit I on and see how it turned yellow. I can key that and change, affect that by a keyframe.
Did you ever watch much Deep Space Nine?
I don't think so. Was there something in there that was?
There is a character who is a shapeshifter, and he turns into puddles that look a lot like this color and texture.
So you can see I can add a lot of weird detail to this. I can make it more or less rough. That actually gives it some like, and scale it.
Yeah, this would like make great mold.
Yeah, anything like that. Like it's super useful, and this is super low cost as far as like, resources go. Yeah, so like if I wanted to add like maybe like dirt to the windows or something, I could do that. Or like on here, it just looks like it's kind of. Maybe if I don't want it as pronounced, I can bring down the strength a little bit and just have it sort of like a little grain on the wood, and I can now right now it's just by default it's taking every object has kind of a generative texture space, so you have to like how we did the UVs and painted on our characters and stuff. There's a texture coordinate node, which we can pick what we want. So by default, it's generated textures. Normals are another one, which I don't necessarily ever use that one. UVs is the other one that's, if I were to UV unwrap this, it would work really good. So you can see some places it's kind of stretching, and other places it's not. Like on here, it's not stretching, but up here it is.
Like they're like elongated. Does that have to do with like the way your faces and the vertices are oriented on that object?
Yeah, it's how it's mapping to the object essentially. So I could bring in a mapping node. I can plug in my generative option here.
Just real quick to like, if you wanted to like make sure that was more homogeneous from the get-go, would you like try and like it's about like trying to subdivide those two faces of that bench equally, or kind of thing?
If you really wanted it to be perfect, you UV unwrap it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a whole nother, like, it's just another step in there, and a lot of times with the procedural textures, it's like, oh man, I don't want to UV unwrap this thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole nother piece of the puzzle. But you can kind of fake it here. If I plug this vector into this vector of the noise texture, should look about the same, but this will give me a few more options here to control some things. So if I actually wanted to stretch this out, I could come in here and actually like increase the X. Well, actually, I don't want location. I want the X scale. So I can just scale it along the X.
So like all of these like bits of noise will get stretched.
Yeah, so you can really see it here. Like,
yeah, and that looks like some wood grain.
Right.
Or like, it reminds me of that like faux wood grain. Actually, like that like faux wood grain like wrap that you put like like MDF furniture.
So it looks really good on here.
That does look good, yeah.
But then up here, see, it's still the same.
Dude, that looks super good on the sides.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It looks nice on the side.
That's super realistic.
And you can, depending on where the light is, obviously.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty flat here, but if you turn to the light, you're gonna see more of the texture.
Man.
So it's pretty cool stuff.
It's really cool.
Texturing is a lot of fun. I've been practicing a lot more texture node setups, and I mean even just this little combination of nodes,
powerful.
is you can do a lot with it. So with your mapping node and noise texture and stuff, there's endless possibilities for setups you can do. But yeah, so what I was going to do with the character here, and go back to our video sequencer, see our thing here, our waveform. I can scale this up a second. There we go. I don't need this, but I'm going to add real quick another technique of animating, which is using shape keys. And essentially shape keys are alternate versions of your characters that have vertices that have moved. So I'll show you. It's fairly simple. It's actually probably one of the simplest ways to animate. And it's really good for face, like rigging and animating characters' faces, because the bones and stuff can get really complicated to rig a character's face. I mean, these characters would be pretty easy, but just for even more, for simplicity's sake, we'll go even simpler. I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I want to take him off of his armature. So right now he's locked so that in edit mode he stays. So this little toggle right here, oh, well, it's actually this one, will keep him in edit mode. So we want to turn both of these actually. So that one, see the edit is gone and it's somewhere, yeah, it's right here. It's kind of weird. So I want to turn both these off. Now I can animate him or change his vertex or his vertices here.
You're gonna clean this guy up a bit for me.
Yeah, so I mean, all I really want to do is make sure that I can give him some animations.
Oh, right, so that his mouth will move the way you need it to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of close his mouth a little bit more. That way we'll have room to
open it,
and then maybe I'm just gonna add a few vertices here, just to give us some more control points. And then, so with that,
this texture is so good.
Whoops. Nope, stay in edit mode. Down here in the vertex data, so where we've also, I don't know if we did a little bit of this when we were making the rigs for them, but we are assigning the vertex groups. But right below that is the shape keys. So essentially, I guess we have to start from object mode, but I want to add a shape key. And this adds just the basis of the character. So this is just like without any edits, totally standard, just like usually it's just like blank, like a blank face kind of, there's just whatever, however you modeled it. And then if we add another one, so this will be our open mouth key. So you see we've got key 1. We can go back into edit mode and start to change this. So I'm gonna look at the side here. I'm gonna hide some of this stuff. Hide that. I think we have our room in a, I did do some there we go. Some organizing. Back into edit mode just so I can see it. There we go. Okay. So I've still got key 1 selected. I want to make sure that like this one's highlighted. I'm gonna use the 3D cursor as like my pivot point for this because I'm gonna have it like open where his jaw would be, which is probably back here. So if I shift and right click, it puts the 3D cursor that sort of just exists in the world in a spot. And then with that, I can select the bottom mouth because typically only the bottom of your mouth opens. Your jaw doesn't move upwards into your head.
Like the top of his beak flapping would be pretty funny.
Yeah, we could totally, you could do that too.
Yeah, let's keep it simple.
I'm just gonna select this one and hit Control plus on the or hold down Control and hit plus on the numpad, and that like expands your selection from. I just have that one vertex selected. Cool. And then that's a super easy way to kind of, especially if you have vertices that are overlapping or anything. Mm-hmm. So now it looks like I've got the mouth selected. I don't know if I want to go. What do you think? Should I go one more down to this one?
Can you just give this one a little motion and see what it looks like?
Yeah. So if I change my spot, I can rotate.
That's going pretty far back, I think.
Yeah. So I do.
It is tugging on his like upper lip a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's got. So maybe we want to move our pivot point further forward here. So
that seems like that looks natural. I mean, like whatever, it's gonna.
Yeah.
You know, it's not textured in a way that's like it's. I think that's,
maybe we have a. Let's see, we have a vertice that might be pulled in a weird spot here.
That would not surprise me.
So see how this vertex is kind of like hanging out there in the center, and it's got a bunch of pieces connected to it.
Yeah.
Let's just sometimes we can might not cooperate. Let's see. I'm just gonna delete this one for a second, and then I want to turn off my subdivide so I can see better what I'm working with. So I'm gonna go in here and turn this off. Now I can see a little bit better. So yeah, if I bring this out, I can reconnect these. Oops. Fill that. I kind of mess up our textures, but that's okay.
Yeah, there's I'm not sure how you could tell that this texture got messed up. It's one big mess up.
Hey, it worked though.
That's the important part.
Yep. So there we go. Now I want to connect these to fill that. So what I'm doing is just essentially selecting 4 vertices and hitting F to fill. And now I've got something here. So we've got a problem because we've got a 5-sided. We've got a a pentagon here, and we don't want a pentagon. There's a floating vertex. We want nice squares. So I'm gonna take these and merge these at center. I think. Well, actually, let's just see. This is the puzzle solving part of character modeling. Is like you'll run into this. Even it doesn't matter if it's a super complex character or a simple character like this. You're always going to end up running into puzzles here. See what I did is I just tore that other piece off just to make this loop go all the way around his head. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Okay. So now I've got some clean geometry.
It's really interesting to see from my perspective here how the texture is so tied to the geometry specifically that just changing the geometries radically altered the texture. Like it's not like inserting that black around his mouth like where I would expect it to, because the geometry is so different.
So I did make a mistake here. While I was editing on this key, and you can see if I go back to the basis, it messes everything up. So there's a way I can, I believe, set this as the default. So if I move this up, and then I should be able to delete that, and now this is the basis. So this is our like root or whatever. Now if I go back into, if I create a new one and go back into edit mode, it should be, no, that's still messed up. Yeah, so shape keys can be, if you're not careful, they can be really weird. So let me just, okay, that's good. Now we have a basis. Now we can make another key. Now we can go to edit mode. There we go. Okay. I just got rid of everything and started over, essentially. So now we can, our 3D cursor is still in the same spot. I actually want to go to my basis first and close his mouth. And then go to key 1 and open it. There we go. I'm just going to do a pretty extreme one, just so that we can have enough range, because you'll see here in a second that when I go back to object mode, his mouth will still be closed, but I now have the ability to use this value slider right here and open his mouth. Nice. So yeah, I mean, you, like I said, you could go all out on this and like make different mouth shapes and stuff. So this is what you do, is like you'd have a list of phonetics if you had a human character, and you would match all the, so phonetics, I guess, do you have a good definition for what phonetics and
I don't know if I have a good
language
definition,
is?
but I was highly interested in the linguistics classes I took in college, and
I've always thought they were really
I
cool.
think I could actually like go back to school and study that and enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
Linguistics is a super interesting subject. So, being a sound-oriented person, so like phonemes, right, are the building blocks of vocalizations with our mouths, and the human mouth can make a continuous but finite series, like set of sounds, right? There are only so many things you can do with your mouth, and only a subset of those things make it into speech in any given language. Like we don't use glottal stops or like tongue clicks in English, but other languages do. I guess we do use some glottal stops, but it's not it doesn't represent its own letter like it does in like Arabic or other languages. Anyways, so yeah, like every little phoneme is like the little building blocks, so like a sound, right? That like even smaller building blocks than syllables, right? So like your S sounds, your different flavors of A's and E's, you know, blah blah blah. So like and to make all these different sounds, we do different things with our mouths. Man, I want to like.
There is a chart. Like
yeah, I'm just about to grab this chart about where vowel sounds go in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, there's a list of like phonetic like different mouth shapes, and then with that you can essentially you match up the different. You use these keyframes in the values that you can. If I was to make another one, I can blend these keys together and blend in between them. So I can, you know, if I'm making an ah sound and then moving to an oo sound, you could, you know, you swap between until you essentially create your lip sync, which is.
I've got a chart pulled up over here.
Let's switch over to Cory's A-Town.
This is.
Oh yeah, see.
So.
So you essentially create these all for your characters, and there's quite a few.
Yeah, and so interesting, you know, like there are words for all of these phonemes. Like there's a technical term for all of these sounds, like that beyond what they just are in English or whatever. Yeah, like you know, depending on what you do, your tongue could be like against your teeth or like back in your mouth. You know, your soft palate can be raised or lowered. Like your lips can be doing different things, and all these, you know, like the way we say like. P's and B's is very similar, but different, you know, and so we shape our mouth, but like here they have them bundled up, P and B, P and B.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, but it.
So the linguistic term is there's like a P, B, like so it's voiced and unvoiced are the term. So B is voiced, has a tone, B, whereas P, B versus P. One's just a puff of air and one has a note. So that's voiced versus unvoiced.
It's really, really interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's a huge, cool area of study. But it behooves you if you are animating characters, and also if you're doing anything with voices to like understand this. You know, also super helpful. The idea this comes up in music, the notion of vowel color, where like the way I say my A's might be different than the way other people say their A's. You know, like there's much different ways to say the letter A, and so. Being mindful of that is important. Okay.
So yeah, I'm essentially what I'm going to do is just go through this, and since this character only has, you know, either his mouth is open or closed, it's a pretty common thing in animation to just have a character where their mouth just like you might have a few shapes, you know, like the key phone, you know, maybe a round shape or an open mouth shape. So you know, and we'll be able to get away with this, I think. So I'm just listening for like, plus they're not really speaking, they're speaking gibberish in this, but it's still, there's phonetics there that you could use. So that's going to be one mouth open. So I've probably like right there. So I've keyed this already. I can go back in. I want to key it again, and then in between here, I'm going to open his mouth a little bit. So in there, So yeah, I mean, this process can be a little bit tedious, but sometimes I'd like to go through and add been waiting, been waiting. So
I love listening to this.
Ben, do you think you open? Would he?
You want to watch me say it?
Yeah.
I've been Are you looking for Ben?
Do you feel like you open your mouth before you start speaking? Do you open your mouth before you start speaking usually? So you think I should maybe slide this back a little bit?
Yeah. Slightly before. It would be weird if I went, you know, if I don't open my mouth first and I say the word I go, my, right?
Yeah.
That's the sound of an M, is opening your mouth.
So I've got auto keying on, so I guess I can just slide my value here and it will automatically add a key, so I can start.
Can you map that to a MIDI controller?
The key, oh, that would be kind of cool. So you just like do
So
it
you can
while
play
you're,
it.
yeah,
Like map it to a slider and perform it.
yeah. I mean, I would imagine you could because
There's certainly some tool that you can do that with. I don't know if it's MIDI or not.
I've been waiting.
Been
waiting. So bend starts closed, right? Ba. Ba. You have to start the sound before you open your mouth.
So I would slide.
This is where just like having like a mirror.
Yeah, like right next to you.
Yeah, where you, or just like, I don't know, like it's nice here I can see myself in the screen, but like just watch yourself, you know, and like.
I've been waiting.
So the T on ting is closed.
Been waiting.
Waiting. So would he close it real quick and then?
So it'd be like, waiting.
Wait. Ting.
I've been waiting.
Waiting.
Good. Okay. Then I need to close his mouth.
I've been waiting.
Waiting.
I've been waiting.
So you won't be. It's funny because he's got the newspaper in front of him for this one, so you won't even be able to see this particular first part. But I wanted to do it just to kind of show this first one. But
I've been waiting.
So I mean that's pretty simple.
I've been waiting.
Nothing fancy. So he's gonna start that F sound. So honestly, I could probably go with having, I think you can actually set a minimum range and it inverts. Yeah. So I could give it a little bit of a minimum range and it will give me some leeway to like close his mouth even more. So maybe some of those sounds that he makes. I can key in here. So maybe
For you.
he makes the sound.
For you.
I can kind of see, I can line my playhead up with that and then kind of match it to the waveform.
I've been waiting for you.
For you. For. Maybe open his mouth a little bit there. For.
Been waiting for you. For you.
For. So this is for
You.
you.
I've been waiting for you. For
There we go. That looks pretty solid.
you.
So yeah, he kind of pushes his lips further together, or his beak, I guess.
For you.
Yeah, man.
Then
It's
close
doing it.
For you.
Four. Another 4, so I'm gonna key in a little motion here. I'm just gonna do 0.
For you. For out. For
There's another F sound.
For you. For our.
4. Sorry, this is probably obnoxious to listen to on
I like
stream,
it.
but
It's part of the process. This is a production of media is messy and ugly behind the scenes.
oh yeah.
And so welcome to, I mean, also my character is messy and ugly in front of the scenes too. So welcome to the process, y'all.
I've been waiting for you. For our.
For
God, that looks good though.
hours.
It is so, it's so magical when sound and picture are in sync. It doesn't really have to be that great for it to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just like, wow, this is magic. You know, like, it's so cool.
For
I've been waiting for you for an hour.
maybe that was a little fast.
For an hour. For you. For an For an hour.
Hours. Ow.
You for an hours. Hour.
Hours. Hours.
I've been waiting for you for an hours.
There we go. Let's see what that looks like from the camera view.
I've been waiting for you for an hours.
So I think it's cool. You do kind of, you know, like the camera angle means that you lose all your nice animation.
Yeah, so
I'm just noticing that. Like I do kind of love this pan.
I can start him. I can have him move the paper down sooner.
Maybe that's. I mean, whatever. Like it depends how much you care about that. But I'm like a little sad that I don't get to see your nice animation.
So he starts moving it here. So let's just, yeah, we can easily. I actually can. I think it's in this. I can just. Let's grab these, slide them over. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I've been waiting for you for an hours.
Nice. Cool. That's pretty solid.
I've been waiting.
Kinda cuts off a little bit, so maybe I can have this pan in a little.
I've been waiting for you for
Maybe not.
It's not terrible though, you know. It's like a little bit of that, but like.
Let me. So if I go to, I'm gonna use my handy dandy. Whoops. What am I looking for? View. Navigation. Block navigation. I'm gonna save this as a quick favorite. I just right clicked and set it as a favorite, and then I can hit Q and then move back a little bit. I'll just open this shot up a little, just so it's not as. There you go.
I've been waiting for you for an hours.
I don't know.
Oh, so good. It's so weird.
For you for an hours.
I feel like that needs to cut maybe a little before now. Let's see. Yeah.
For an hours.
Cool.
For
So now I gotta fix his hands, but we can do that. We can go into pose mode. We can select our bone. We can see it here. We just want to match that up to when the newspaper starts moving. So like right about there. I'll just slide these over. Do the same with the other hand. I think that's it. Yeah. And grab these two, slide them over.
I've been waiting.
That one gets a little bit off here.
Been waiting.
Not that you'll see it, but I want to kind of keep his hand in the. Oops. Switch my editing point back to. It's fine. So with the shape keys too, the way we did his mouth, we could also do it with his hands if we wanted his hands to close around something. Which we don't really see their hands much in this, so it's not a big deal, but it's something you can do, and sometimes it's easier than trying to do a bunch of, especially if you have simple characters like this, and you don't need a whole elaborate rig for every a bone for every finger of the hand. You can totally use shape keys for that. So.
I've been waiting.
Double tap R, you can rotate, and just like have him grab it there, I think. So, just to get a general idea of where his hand's at. There, okay.
I've been waiting for you.
Cool.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Sweet. Looks
Beautiful.
All right, our first lip sync completed. So with that, I think we've got this angle now. We can do the rest of our. So we'll need to do the same with our other character and give him some shape keys too. So let's do that. Back in object mode. Make sure that he's. Yep. So I'm gonna turn that on actually. Go into edit mode, tab, edit mode. We're gonna do exactly the same thing. Be able to see here. Select those two in the front. Oh, I want to make my shape keys first. I gotta make the basis. So over in the properties panel, our object data properties, make a basis, make a shape key, tab on the edit mode. Select the part you want to edit. Go into side view. I'm gonna hide my room again. Shift and right click to place down your 3D cursor, and then edit up here. We can change the origin of rotation to the 3D cursor, and then rotate, and then there we go. That's all she wrote. Woo. Now we can. Now he's got animation 2. Cool. Simple as that. It's actually really kind of refreshing to work on. This is what I need to do with my own personal animations and stuff, is just like do it instead of like fussing over what it looks like and like trying to get the perfect, really get my character design skills down. It's like, it's fun to just actually animate without like worrying about all the other stuff. It's refreshing.
I feel like it's like tough to get into this right mental space of like finding the balance. I think it's like an eternal struggle for creatives, is like finding the balance between iterating and finalizing.
Right.
But like I like to remind my students of this a lot too. It's like, like you want to practice all the stages, but you're most likely to get the most practice at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's easy to keep practicing the beginning stages over and over again, or the middle stages. But like the further into the project you get, the less likely you're gonna get there. And so just sometimes just going for it. This is why I like doing these like hour-and-a-half tracks on this stream have been really awesome for me. Like it's been a great exercise in just like moving on, and like getting to the funner part. I mean, like not, like character creation is not like sound design, like I could spend hours making snare drums for tracks and never use them in a track. Right. But like that's like why am I making them? What's the whole point? Anyways.
So he's looking at the camera, so I'm gonna make him try to look at our character here. I'm just gonna kind of position the camera so I'm sort of looking from his point of view. And then go into pose mode. So we sort of have a pose here, I think. Yeah. Where's my keyframes? There they are. So it looks like he doesn't really have, he's kind of set in this pose. So I'm gonna hit this little button here to go back to the previous keyframe and just turn his head a little bit. Whoa. Rotate. Oh, I always forget that this is on and we want medium points. There we go. Let me make him look more like he's looking at. We can also fix, while we're in here, we might as well fix the timing of this to match with our sitting sound. Mm-hmm. So we can sort of either compress this animation, make it happen faster, or slide it over so we can listen here.
Can you chop the audio? Can you go in like?
Yeah, I believe so. I could.
Because we don't. The backing track's not playing. Okay. This is actually something I'm curious about. I'm pretty sure I bounced this out without the music. Is it playing there quietly in the background though, and I'm not hearing it? Do you think?
Yeah. No, it's not playing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, there's no music. So we've got all the footsteps. So those sound good.
This walk is so swaggy.
Yeah, it's funny because, like I said, like you don't see that in the camera, so.
Right. Yeah, it looks awesome from that angle. His like legs are all bowing out.
Yeah.
But like whatever, who cares? you know?
Yeah, you don't see
like
it.
you wouldn't believe what the parts of the songs you don't hear sound like, you know?
So yeah, maybe I could. Well, I've already synced this, so I want to make sure I don't. I've already lined up. I mean, I could easily move my lip sync over to line up if I move it. But so he starts sitting right there. Yeah, so maybe I will. I'm pretty sure that I can cut.
Yeah, that might be
Yeah,
simpler just to
split.
slide the audio
Okay,
over.
Yeah. So here. That work? There we go. And I can delete that piece. Then I can go back and reline up my. There we go. Let's get in here closer. He sits down pretty much right away. There we go. Cool. Okay, so now I want to make sure that my lip sync is correct, so I can go back onto this character here. Object mode. It's funny, it starts playing sound and it doesn't look like there's any waveform there. Like right here. Like there's some audio there. I guess it's just like not loud enough yet. I can just
That like playhead may not be the most accurate image.
yeah,
you know?
that's true. I think this is yeah, because it looks pretty darn flat right there, but there's definitely sound.
Yeah, like so, like I was
That
saying, it's
waveform.
looping a chunk, and you might just be like it.
Oh, getting
the
a
end of
further
that chunk
Yeah.
might just be dipping into where that waveform is, you know?
Okay.
Because like there's no way you can't play an instant of audio. It doesn't sound like anything.
Right. So
That's a weird one to wrap your head around, by the way.
I've been
you know?
waiting
So I was trying to talk
for
about it in
you
class the other day.
for hours.
still pretty
I've
solid.
been waiting for you for hours. I've been waiting for you for hours.
Sweet. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so now we can switch gears to our other character. I could go forward and animate the rest of his. I
I
think he does talk again, right?
hours.
So,
Orange.
yeah, so he does talk again. Well, let's do this characters. So let me get in there. Whoops. All right, camera going all over the place. Let's see. So I'm look at this. I'm gonna try to do this a little quicker here. So I'm just gonna key in at certain points. So. Closed. Makes an interesting noise there. That sounds like that sounds like a more of a closed mouth sound. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of minimum range too, so he can move his mouth. Raw. Then an S sound, so that's more of a closed mouth. Followed by a quick. Let's see how that looks. Let's see. Gotta get more comfortable here. Oh, these chairs.
Long haul.
Yeah. Well, we still haven't beat our record of it was like a 3 hour long.
I think we did
stream.
one 3 hour one, yeah.
Yeah.
This is maybe a good reminder that one of the most important pieces of studio equipment that you could possibly own is a good chair.
Yeah.
This is a really, really sound advice. It doesn't have to be a crazy good chair, but like this crummy thing I'm sitting in
Oh
here.
yeah, same.
Like these like they're all right, but they're not very ergonomic, and for long haul periods they are kind of whack. You know,
Yeah.
I think I spent maybe like $140 on a decently adjustable office chair on Amazon, and it was a super good investment. When you're in that chair for 5 to 8 hours at a stretch doing stuff, you want to make sure that you're comfortable and that your back is supported.
Yeah, for sure.
As I'm like sitting here like slouching. Or, like,
Oh, same. Terrible.
we got like some good posture going in here.
Not sure why he's slowly sliding forward, but we'll fix that.
He's sliding out of his chairs. And goes,
Sliding on those diner, the slippery like leather diner seats. Oh. Again. I'm just gonna set this to 0. There we go.
I'm trying to like decide what it sounds like he's saying.
Yeah, his is a little bit less legible than the other character.
Well, it's just random syllables from that Cage of the Ultimate song, I think.
Oh, right.
Kind of reminds me of the Budweiser frogs here at the end. Oh, hi, Lily.
Oh, hello.
Weird, I see you in the chat, but I don't see you counted as a viewer in the chat. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, maybe our viewers are broken again.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. Hey, well, hopefully we haven't had a bunch of people watching this whole time bored out of their skulls and not saying anything.
Oh, we got a sound in there that I'm not seeing. I'm just not catching it. There we go. Mo. Ra.
You can see those points in the waveform where like, you know, like those spots where it literally gets smaller, like blah 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 blah, like
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a direct correlation, but that's a pretty good analog for like viewing where his mouth is closing. So like if you had, you know, like wah.
Ra, like there.
Yeah, if you like see that blob right there, that the blue thing's over. Like if you had it just open and close over the course of that blob, it would probably work great.
Open and close over. Oh, this one here.
Yeah, so like right at the end of that second, like, so at the next ending point.
Okay, so start there
And then there, yeah. So like
Close
open
it.
and close, yeah. Yeah, Lily, were you tuned in when we were like talking about like showed the picture of the mouth phonemes? I kind of think you might have missed that. I'll pull it back up. It was really interesting.
No.
I was recommending too, like when we were doing this earlier, 'cause I suspect you missed this too. Like I'm watching myself in the monitor, and like we were talking about how to make the mouth move for the actual audible dialogue, and I'm just watching myself say it. You know, so like if you have like if you just like get in a mirror and say some like, you know, sing the lyrics or whatever you're doing, you know, you can kind of get an idea of what mouths are supposed to do. But we found this interesting chart, which here I've got it pulled up again, Jay, if you want to switch.
Oh yeah.
This thing. So like the idea of like kind of what happens to different parts of your mouth as you move through the different parts of speech, you know, like.
Sorry.
You know, like our lips are like a strong, flexible muscle. You can do all kinds of weird stuff with them. But the main axes of motion are like, right, your jaw opens, your like corners of your mouth can tighten or widen, you know? But when you're saying each of these sounds, this is kind of like what your mouth looks like. Yeah, so that makes sense. Like, yeah, because like a lot of like phonemes we use are like we say a lot of, or I shouldn't say a lot, not phonemes, a lot of syllables that we say are actually diphthongs that contain multiple phonemes. So it would totally make sense that you need to like slide through a couple different vowels for each thing. That's cool that there's a pre-made system. So Lily's chatting us here talking about doing animations in Miku Miku Dance. And that program has a bunch of like, basically it's hyper specialized to like, you know, import character models and then animate them. So like kind of like, we should totally do.
Oh, that's right.
I really want to do, we'll model me and we'll do a Vocaloid of me. I really want to do that.
We do an AMV and full-on music video with you. Maybe we can do some mocap. I've got the Kinect. I can bring the Kinect in. We can do some mocap. Would that be an entertaining stream?
Yes, I'm so on board for all this. It sounds super fun just to try and do. I think it would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's this hyper specialized, right? Yeah, Utao, right? This is hyper specialized software for just animating these specific character models for these specific, in this specific style. So there's all sorts of tools like that. Like if there's a thing you want to do, like there's, you know, like Blender's this like Ableton is this kind of like blank canvas that you can do all sorts of different things in. But if you have something like more specific, sometimes there's like a more specific tool, you know? Like if you are into, these like virtual idol kind of things, there's these awesome programs for creating dance routines and lip syncing that just make it super easy. It's really cool. Are those two timelines? Oh no, they just happen to be aligned right there.
I've scaled them so that they're about the same. Like,
yeah, but they're not identical.
They should be. I mean, they're not. See how like if I scale out that one, it's the time scaling is different on. So you can see if
can you
like
walk
seconds.
them together like perfectly? Can you like? Because that's the sort of thing that would drive me nuts.
I had it pretty close there.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, but you were just kind of eyeballing it.
Yeah, so I can kind of. This is too close. I was actually kind of by coincidence. There's like the certain.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking that maybe I just like looked up and happened to catch it at a moment. You know.
Yeah. See, there's pretty close. If I move this over, I can.
Yeah, that's fairly good.
Of course, then I would like want to see it from a different angle. If I move it, then it's But I can slide down on either side, which is nice. So I can kind of line it up.
Man, yeah, the multiple timelines.
Is that a sound there?
Orange.
That's a glitch. You could probably
cut that out.
I don't know, or you could have him go.
Maybe he spits on the ground.
Yeah, I guess. Right. Hey, a spitting motion. Yeah. Pretty hard to do with a beak, right? Because we like purse our lips when we do that. Like spit like It's like, we like push a little air out of some pursed lips. So you need a lot. You'd have to have like you'd have to have like a squish. You'd have to have a sideways animation too for that. Yeah. I think. I'm like maybe you could do it with just a squish. So a close and a squish.
I probably could.
I'm trying to think of like. I'm trying to get in the mental space of like a little further if I'm trying to actually execute some of these phonemes. Like you got to be able to move these vertices as well, like the corners of the mouth, right? I assume is what you start animating.
The corners of the mouths, yeah, the corners of the mouths, and you could have you can like puff out their cheeks or something, or you can have more like of course having teeth in the tongue help too with like the like showing phonetics more.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We use our teeth and our tongue to speak, and to
Orange.
That's the difference between an H and a T sound is where my tongue goes, right? Versus yeah, you put your tongue up against the back of your teeth to make that sound. Doesn't work. Pretty hard to make that sound if you don't have teeth, I would think, or a tongue. Or, I don't know. So there's a lot of other sounds that are pretty hard to make without lips. Like P's and B's.
Our characters have beaks, so we're kind of, it's sort of you gotta, what's that whole saying they say, like, you leave it up to your imagination or whatever, or you gotta...
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, the suspension of disbelief, yeah, exactly.
Orange.
I'm gonna have a...
Yeah, making and naming like shape keys and sliders, yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Organizing all the different moving parts just seems like so, like, a music project gets pretty complicated, but like now we're talking about complicated systems in a 3D space where like I can like zoom out and look at my whole music project and see all the lanes of automation all at once easily if I want to. And I don't think that's possible in this program. Like to like see all the minutia of what's happening all at the same time.
To see all your keyframes?
Or just like all of your everything, you know? Like you can just zoom out in Ableton and see everything that's going on pretty much.
Right.
Like,
I mean, this is probably the closest you can get.
Yeah. Which like that's not very informative, you know?
No, not really. I mean, you got like, here's all your bones, and then underneath each of those bones is all the different location
like nested
options.
stuff. So there's just so many nodes and
lot.
vertices and things, like just so much happening in this software that like, I don't know. Like what you're telling me about how to do this makes sense, but I'm like, man, how to keep just straight all the things that are happening and affecting other things? Well, that sound, I was like, what?
I've been waiting for you for
It's kind of
hours.
freaky because this recording was made in this room, so it sure sounds like it's happening in this room. Like definitely like, looked around.
Orange. Been waiting for you for hours.
Oops, whoa.
Why no spare more
More.
So I was gonna add that in. So he pretty much sits there the whole time. I'm gonna add a little bit. We'll come in and do like a polishing. I add a few more animations. Still seems.
Yeah, I definitely would probably do the sound a little different if this
I've
was the
been waiting
animation I was rendering.
for you,
You know,
for
Yeah, we can
hours.
do another.
another bouncing
Why
back or
no
something. I don't know, or not.
Ross,
You know, you could also put a pin in this one at some point and move on. I also love the drastic difference between the models. This is my favorite part. All of my contributions to this have been pretty janky compared to Jay's.
Doing this a long time.
Yeah.
How long have you been using Ableton for? If you were to put a year on it.
I think I started in version 6. I was in college, so, and it was, I could tell you what year it was. I was living in the student co-ops, so when I was in college in Eugene, I moved into the vegan student co-op. So there's like 23 people living in an old sorority,
Oof.
except we owned the building.
Huh.
Yeah, co-ops are cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Which is a fun power to have, like an old, like literally an old sorority building with 23 hippies living there, and no one to tell us not to do anything.
Orange.
So that would have been, I think, 2006. So
2006.
I have been using Ableton for 15 years. No.
Wow.
That's nuts. No wonder it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
You'd think I'd be better at it by now.
2006. I think I probably started using Blender in. Had to have been freshman year of high school, so 2009 or 10. So at least definitely over 10 years. I've at least like been aware of it and like practicing. You know, I didn't really start. I mean, I was like learning stuff since then, but hadn't really been, you know, hadn't really used it or like been trying to learn it and teaching it essentially. I mean, I've only been teaching it since I started here, but which is really like up. I mean, when you start having to teach something, it's amazing how much you learn about the software when you have to teach someone else how to use it.
Yeah, this was I learned way more about Ableton after I started having to explain it to people than I knew before I did. You know? You just got to know one more thing than the person you're trying to teach, I guess. But like, yeah, I've come a long way. I guess like those first few years, like I started using it back then, and then like put it down and it didn't do anything. You know, I'd say I've been using it in a serious way for about 10 years now. But I definitely had a copy back in the day.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I remember the early days of Blender. If you go back and look at some of the old UI from like before 2.0, it's pretty gnarly.
Amazingly, like Ableton's interface really hasn't changed much, which maybe, like, I don't know if that is a testament to how little development they do, or to how it's either that they got a pretty solid design good at the beginning and stuck with it, or that they just like, have some institutional inertia and haven't like improved.
I don't know, honestly, where this movement is coming from, but he is definitely slightly sliding the whole time, and I don't know why.
There's not some weird root bone animation thing happening?
Oh, yeah, because I know we're messing with that. And I thought I had it selected here, but where's my root? It's moving.
4 hours. For hours.
Oh, it's that
It doesn't look like
torso.
it's going anywhere.
Yeah, it's his torso. For some reason, these didn't copy over.
Yeah, I think Lily, I think redesigning user interfaces is just a huge pain. It's like it takes so much work, and like it's not easy either. Like, you know, like there's so many compromises. Like, I mean, like the Blender interface, like is like you said, it's improved a ton, but it looks so just like difficult to me. You know, like, and I'm sure it's not like compared to other how it used to be or other tools maybe, but like it just, you know, like. Just good UI that feels intuitive is challenging, and like, you know, like it might take them like so much effort to improve over the UI that they have that it's like not worth the effort. Like, you know, like maybe someone just doesn't have a better idea, or I don't know what goes on with the development of Mukami, so who knows?
Dude, what is moving you? It must be something that I don't have on. Let's see.
Moving.
Where's my properties? Oh, hold on. I gotta run a script. Pain in the butt. Run. There we go. Don't pay any attention to that. It's not important, although I guess it kind of is, but it'll take a lot of explaining. Back to, where's my video editor? Okay. What I needed were these. There must be there's got to be a bone here somewhere that's giving me some issues.
Here we go. Just found the image. Check this out, Jay. Real quick,
Ooh, ew.
This is Ableton 1.
Oh, it looks pretty like, now that I look at it, it's pretty like laid out. Seems like pretty much the same.
Same thing. The same freaking thing. Like not much has changed. The like subtle things, but like even like the gray color, the knobs. This device looks identical. This hasn't changed. Oh, here. I'll pull it up right now. That's so funny. Check it out.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just yeah. It's more compact. That's about it.
Well, I think it's because screens were lower resolution
That's
back
true.
20 years ago when they made this. Like I straight up think, like look at it. It's like a 4:3 like, like it's an old CRT display kind of style thing. Yep, same old. Anyways, thought it was kind of funny.
There's something weird going on in here. So this is, I'll show you guys here. These rigs actually have a lot more bones than. See, there we go. These bones have a lot more. These rigs have a lot more bones than are actually shown.
Oh, do you have like a secret moving bone?
So it could be one of these bones in here is moving when I don't.
Catch you later, Lily. I'll see you tomorrow.
So in order to fix that, I'm just going to do this the messy way and key it all in, and then Shift D to duplicate it over, because I just don't want it to move anymore. It should stay, but no,
I've been waiting for you for hours.
that is the most bizarre thing. I mean, I guess it's not a huge deal, but it's going to kind of drive me crazy. 'Cause it's
Warren.
like- oh, okay, whatever. Not a big deal. I'll hide the ones I don't need.
Right, let's call it added realism, right?
He's kind of
He's
shifting
not gonna,
in
like-
his seat.
Yeah, totally. It's just chalk it up to added realism.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention as much as I probably should have while I was animating, so something in here is not...
It's a lot.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Why no spare?
There we go. Oops.
Wire
Did you see the spit?
era
Orange. Equal. I say banana.
Oh, man.
Oh, the spit isn't really good. This is such a funny activity. I
I've
love
been
this.
waiting for you for hours.
why no
So it's...
so
it's
strange.
gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna have to like look at this after this stream, because
Totally.
I don't know. I have to dig in here and see what the deal is. That's gonna drive me absolutely crazy.
For you for
It
hours.
sure looks like the torso.
Yeah, his like
I-
knees aren't moving or whatever.
If I turn this off, you can actually deactivate certain bones. Yeah, so it's a torso somewhere.
I've been waiting.
For some reason, the torso is what's being weird here. So if we, let's just go in here. You gonna watch me troubleshoot? Otherwise, I'm gonna get. It's gonna, there we go. Hey, okay, it was somewhere in there, but for some reason it wasn't keying right. Okay, that was it.
Woohoo!
I've been waiting for you for hours.
why no
There,
spare?
okay, he's staying in place.
Wire era
Orange.
So maybe I'll do, let's do this last lip sync here. So we'll go back into our character. Object mode, select, okay. Got this keyed.
More.
Let's start out with a little bit less. Oops.
More.
More.
Orange.
Ch.
Orange.
You.
Orange. Equal. Orange.
You.
Equal. Orange.
You. Oops. Shoot.
Orange. Equal.
You.
Equal.
Plaid.
Orange. Equal. Orange. Equal. Say banana. Orange. Equal. Say orange. Equal. Say
I'm not liking the way I'm doing this here. Let's see.
Orange.
Or I gotta get closer, I think here.
Orange.
Or
Orange.
I guess this would be opening. So
Orange. 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 E flat.
there we go.
Orange.
U.
E flat. Orange. E flat. E flat. Orange. E flat. Flat.
And
Orange. E flat.
it's kind of a little bit on a.
Flat. Orange. E flat. Orange. E flat.
Yeah, see, this would be another thing that would be great to have. You know, even if you have a character, you know, just to record a reference of yourself saying the lines to use as reference would speed up this process too. Because then you can match it to a visual instead of just listening to the audio.
right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Hey, that's really smart. Yeah.
Although this is, you know, gibberish, it's kind of you could rehearse it, I guess, and get close. But you know, if you were actually, you know, had a character that was talking, you just record yourself saying the lines, and then you have a perfect reference. So
Orange. E flat. Flat.
glad.
E flat. E flat.
Glad I.
Orange. E flat.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of this is just the same.
Orange. Orange.
thing over and over?
E flat.
Because they're lucky you don't have to watch me work on the current project I'm working on and trying to do hair, because it is very tedious. And just like this, or it's like you're modifying just like one little value over and over again until it looks right.
Totally.
Orange. E flat.
Say. Hey.
Flat. Save. Save. E flat. Save.
Nah. Uh-oh. Oh. Oops. TV still working up there? Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice.
Orange. E flat. Save.
Ha.
Orange. E flat. Orange. Orange. E flat. E flat. Save. Orange. E flat. Save.
Sometimes I think the biggest one of the biggest things with animation is the timing. And I mean, it's nice with an audio reference, but like certain actions, specifically if you're not editing and it's not like running at and you're not having like full speed playback. I've like a million times I've animated something that looked great and then put it into or had it render, and it ends up being like either way too slow or way too fast. So like you don't really. That's the whole point of like optimizing your models and stuff. and turning off any physics or anything like that or simulations is because like when you're animating, you want it to be as like real time as possible for that reason exactly. And that's another great thing with reference is that you can actually put the video in here and like line it up. So that's what I've done in the past is like just recorded that and then use the waveform from the video. Like say you had a voice actor saying the lines for the character, I would record a video too. And then you've got, your reference and your timing and your dialogue all in one thing, which is awesome. Then you don't have to, you don't have to worry about like getting, different you can have it all match up and not have to worry. Because like if you have a line and your voice actor delivers that line and you have that recorded, you've already got your reference and you're ready to go. I mean, that's what makes mocap so great is that like you deliver your line and you capture that motion and that's the take, and then you've already got your animation data. Essentially, you just have to go and clean it up. So it's like it shortens that process,
Right,
Yeah. Your reference is already built into the data and your recording is already there too. Cool. Okay, so one more piece to lip sync and that's with our other character. So you can come in here and select him. Make sure he's at 0 here, or close to it anyways. We'll go full ha. Key that in. This will be interesting. And then I'll probably actually copy these over, Shift D to duplicate, and I can, if I can line it up right, because he's sort of, oh, that's the closed one, so I want this to be open.
I like that he just like super steady.
His laugh.
Well, also that he doesn't move at all. He's not like throwing his head back. Like,
Yeah,
but like but like yeah. I mean, hey, there's like a thing, right? Like when you laugh, it's not just like ha 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 ha.
Yeah, right.
Ha 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 ha. Like there's all sorts of other like things that you do with your face and your body, and like, but it's like suits the audio. Being literally the same sample repeated over and over again. Did I give you like a weird lower pitched one at the end?
Yeah, I think so.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, I messed up the timing. Hold on. Let me just... Sometimes it's easier just to start over.
I'm not sure where I got this idea. I am... I am sure. This sound reminds me a lot of, Jade, have you ever seen the old show Clone High?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Clone High?
Yeah.
Clone High, super good, by the way. Way better than you'd think it would be. Those writers were on it. But do you remember the robot butler?
Oh, so did he laugh like that?
Well, he says something about this to Wesley. I think he calls everybody Wesley. And so they do this thing where he's monotone and then drops the last word. So he talks like this until he is saying the end. and there's always like a pause and then a drop.
Then the drop.
And there's something about that cadence that I've heard that replicated. It's someone came on I listened to Comedy Bang Bang, the improv podcast, and someone came on the other day doing a robot voice, and they totally were doing that same thing. They brought a vocoder in and just did their whole appearance through a vocoder. It was super obnoxious. But they would hold one note and be like, I'm just speaking at this one dude until it's over. And there's just something really silly about it. I don't know.
That's exactly what he's doing. And then the last one. Yeah.
It's totally, this is a Clone High reference, I promise you. Definitely.
Then he disappears and starts over again.
Just like real life.
Let's see what it looks like with the lip sync again here.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Why no? Ra spe mo ra wire po ra.
Orange, what? I say banana.
Ha 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 ha. Ha.
I want to change this last frame here real quick. Get a little bit wider of a shot. Gotta look at my timeline, see where my camera angle is. There it is. Need to zoom out. I want to get some of the. There we go. Get the nice silverware in there that I spent a long time animating. Or let me move this back.
Ha 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 ha.
There we go. I think I want to change one more thing with the camera while I've got it here. So I can go to the next frame here. I just want to give him a little bit more walking room. There we go. That's a little smoother.
I've been waiting for you.
Did I break the 360 rule there? No. Almost. Should be. So there's a weird thing with, all the same camera composing rules apply to, animation as they do in real life. One thing that I've kind of messed up here with my camera angles is that he's on the left-hand side of the screen, and then all of a sudden he's on the right-hand side of the screen. So, but the idea, I guess, is to change your focus to this character. So it's not, and I'm looking at I can actually visualize where my camera is, and see sort of, if we look at this from a top-down perspective, I can actually see if I've broken any of the rules of the 360 rules or 180 rules. So it's where you pretty much you can draw a line from your camera. Like if I draw a straight line out from my camera here, I don't want to go past this line. It's sort of, I think we've talked about it before. It's sort of hard to visualize. I wouldn't want to flip around this character in a way. It's kind of hard to see it if you don't. It's sort of doing it here to where he's on the left and then now he's on the right. Mm-hmm. So so I could kind of fix that by if I grab this, change the shot to where he's over here. It's not too bad. Though we need some, our walls are kind of blank. And then again, I'm sort of wanting to keep my subject always on. He's on the left most of the time. He's still on the left. That's
You
fine.
for hours.
I just don't want to.
Why no?
I wouldn't want to go like on this side of him. I mean, I guess it's such a weird thing. It's kind of one of those things that you notice if you watch it a few times.
Definitely not something I ever thought about before.
Yeah, it's a weird like. So yeah, like that's a little bit. Yeah, I feel like It's one of those things that It's like It's kind of like in shows and movies. Sometimes it's pretty hard to notice if the pacing is off, unless it's off. You know, it's one of those weird things where it feels weird when there's something wrong, but it's kind of hard to put a finger on it when it's wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like some weird little inconsistency that's can be really difficult to pick out. Yeah, the 360, 180 rule. Don't think I'm breaking it here. I'm pretty sure I'm staying in the... Yeah, so because I don't cross over the line. One thing I might want to do is keep my camera moving. Or at least slow it down. If I bring this in, I can...
Worse.
Why no?
4 hours.
I don't want this. I want this to smooth out, so I'm gonna hold on.
3 hours. 4
4 hours. 4 hours. Is that how long the stream is gonna go?
For hours. That did not. What did
4
that
hours.
Not? 4 hours. It didn't give me my. Oh, is this all? Do I need to?
Hours.
Oh. I was gonna try to get this to change its Bezier type, so maybe I could do this. This will work. There we go.
Hours.
Oops, no, that did not do what I wanted it to do.
Hours.
Whoops. So what I'm doing in here is just changing the interpolation mode. I have it on constant, so essentially it just like doesn't it doesn't change. I guess all these I can actually probably switch to Bezier, and it shouldn't do anything weird. Probably look better actually. Whoa.
I've been waiting for you.
Totally
4
changes our
hours.
Why no?
Did they change the angle?
So you can see how my curves now are all like...
Yeah, like curvy.
I can smooth these out. Yeah. Some of them won't do anything, but like, I don't know what this one... Whoa. Calm down. This is one thing that I've... Bezier curves in Blender, in like any program, are always a pain in the butt. What is that? The focal... Oh, this might be the focal length. Yeah, it's the focal length. Okay, that's not something we got to worry about. We just want the transforms. So I'm just going to hide that one. Or is it not? What are you? The Z? As long as it doesn't look too bad.
I've been waiting for you 4 hours.
The glories of Bezier curves. Let's do that.
For you 4 hours.
I just want this to hold. I want
4
this
hours.
Why no?
There we go.
Raw spare. Why?
It's not too bad. Cool. Well, there's our lip syncing.
Woohoo!
I know it wasn't a very.
This is how the sausage is made, though.
Yeah. Where's Did this change my shot? All right, one more shot I gotta fix because it for some reason did not stay. There we go.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Why no? Ra spe mora wire po ra
Orange, Ihwad, I say banana.
ha 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 ha.
I like that I can start a little bit earlier. I don't know what happened to my camera stuff. It got scooted around a little bit. Good. Let me select it, please. There we go.
Why no? Ra spe ha ha ha.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ha ha
Banana.
ha 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 ha.
I might actually change this angle because I think here I...
Ha
No, well... Let's see. I'll change one more angle just to spice it up a bit.
Change your angle.
I like this one where you can like see him in the reflection. Whoa, there. That's weird. Wait, what? What's happening there? Where's my... Oh, wait, what? There we go. I don't know what I was doing.
Oh, thank you for transcribing that dialogue for us slowly. I think that seems pretty accurate to me.
Uh-huh.
Orange. Orange.
Ah, I don't like that. Never mind.
Orange.
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 Orange. Ihwad, I say banana.
ha.
Yeah, it's fine. Cool. Okay.
I like the foregrounding of the objects like that in this shot. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty artsy.
Little framing there. Okay. Well, I think we could call it there for now.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got a
I've
two
been
tanks showing up
waiting
here in a minute.
for you
Okay.
for
Lovely.
hours.
Why no? Ra
All right.
spe
Well,
mora wire.
productive day back on the animation.
Orange. Ihwad, I say banana.
Ha 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 ha.
I think we can do one more session of this and then call it good.
Yeah, I will be happy to see the end result and
I've
happy
been
to move
waiting
on from this.
for you for
It's a lot.
hours.
It really is. Like it takes. It's so we'll probably do. I'll render this one out for next time, and then you can do the final pass of audio, and then I'll add in the little pieces of extra animation stuff.
Yeah. We can
And
just
then-
maybe we'll start next stream with me with a copy of this video.
Yeah.
And I'll just like quick realign everything a bit better, and then send it back to you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds
Awesome.
good. Alrighty.
Well, thanks for observing, everyone.
Yep.
All of our many viewers.
Yep.
We appreciate you so much. Yes, indeed. We'll be right back here at the same time.
Cory.
A question? Would I like it to be sorta?
Sorta. Is there a question?
Kinda? I'm assuming there's a second half to this question. This is the funny thing about the delay with the chat and the video.
Yeah.
I'm happy with any liberty you'd like to take. That does sound like kind of up my alley. I'm into a cheesy 80s or 90s aesthetic, if that can help. Like imagine if you wanted to try and dress me like a Backstreet Boy from the late 90s, I would enjoy that very much. That's what I have to say about that.
Oh my gosh.
But barring that, Cyber Rockstar works for me too. Yeah, go watch some NSYNC videos and get some inspiration. That's my advice.
All right, cool. Well, we'll be back again next week, same time, same place. Oh, nice. Hat with the MARZ logo sounds pretty sweet.
Jay, can
I
we
guess
should make
those.
hats with the MARZ logo also.
Yeah.
We should actually do that.
That would be cool.
There's some folks who make nice hats down in Ferndale. Anyways,
Cool. Alrighty, guys.
see y'all later. See you tomorrow, Lily.
Take it easy.
Thanks for checking it out, y'all. Goodbye.
Bye.